Before we get started, I just wanted to make note that all communication with the Moneo software to a VSE does require a connection to the configuration port. The field bus options we have on some VSE units will not onboard to Moneo. Okay, so last thing to note is going to be the fact that the VSE hardware itself must be set up, and that setup must be finalized through the VES 004 software before we onboard it into Moneo. Once it is onboarded into Moneo, the object set, speed inputs, anything else that we have feeding into Moneo is static. It's linked to the database. It's in the format that it should be in. As an example, real quick, I'll go to this Ethernet IP VSE, and just as a correlation to what would be going on would be that the data here in the assembly is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 real values, and this is how the data is being sent over to Moneo, for example. If suddenly we remove, say, object 4 here, in the data, object 5 actually shifts up. And then the data that you have feeding into Moneo once you make and write a change like that to the VSE is not correct. It's not looking at the right data set. So before onboarding into Moneo, we need to make sure that we have set up the VSE hardware to its in a final state before onboarding. If we don't do this, we make changes later, your data is going to be wrong. The only way to fix that is going to be to offboard the VSE from Moneo and then re-onboard. That data is no longer linked to the old data, so you're going to lose the data that you had been recording before. Please be careful. Make sure that when we onboard the VSE, it is set the way we want it to be. Okay, so that said, let's take a look here at device management in Moneo. I have a master onboarded. I'm going to come up to the top right hand corner here, click device and VSE. Okay, my VSE here is 172.21.52.64. All right, by default, 3321 is the port. I'm going to hit OK. There we go. So it has pulled in my VSE information. And we don't grab the metadata. We're actually going to grab, in my case, I just have one sensor on here. So I'm going to grab sensor 1 data. I'm going to pull that over to the side here under base. I'll drop that in. And now if I want to, I can edit this. I can say, right, VSA machine 1, sensor 1. All right, now here is our values. Let's see, can we make that a little bit bigger so we can see it better? Okay, there we go. So for the info points here, this is object 5, 4, 1, 2, 3. So here are our 5 object values. We can also pull in the object state, whether it's in warning or alarm, to monitor. That's another info point. If we are going to be setting up individual thresholds inside of Moneo, we might not want to waste an info point on that. But to each their own, right? So the only other thing I would mention is for each one of these units here, if we click on the 3 dots, and we can do edit name and units. Again, you could edit that name again, and you can, the native units and milliges for this object, we can change that to meters per second squared, millimeters per second squared, or Gs, so we can change the unit value for the object data coming in. Once you do change that unit value, that is the only time that you get to change the unit value. You'd actually have to offboard the whole VSE and then re-onboard it to make that change after the fact. So again, make sure that when we're making changes in here, that they are what we want, or else you're going to have to start over in this current state of connection between a VSE and the Moneo software. And once you have this, just like anything, any other data point coming into Moneo, you can go to the dashboards, you can go to analysis after you've recorded some data over time. Works just like any one of the other data points. All right, that is it for onboarding a VSE master into Moneo. Thank you, and have a good day.